Good evening with the Lime Sports World. I'm Damien Best. Well, the number 1 and number 2 seeds are through to the finals of the Men's National Senior Tennis Championships. Last night at the Tennis Centre in Wildey, number 2 seed Shannon Williams dispatched Renaldo Gibson 6-4, 6-2. Meanwhile, Damien Applewaite went down to number 1 seed Russell Mosley 7-6, 6-4. We pick up the action late in the first set. Damien Applewaite serving to Russell Mosley. Mosley with the backhand, then comes into the court with the drop shot. And that's nice. Well, these two really put on a show in the first set. On this occasion, Mosley is forced to play deep away from the baseline. Applewaite searching for the opening and gets it. Good aggressive play. Well, Mosley and Applewaite tied in the first set at 6 games apiece. So we're headed to the tie break. And Mosley staying in command of the play here. And it's Applewaite who hits it long. In fact, the number 1 seed Mosley would go on to seal the first set. 7-6 on the tie break. Good movement. Applewaite with some work to do. Doesn't get it up and over the net. But you can't fault him for trying. In the second set now, Mosley with the serve and trying to catch Applewaite. Napping, finds the net. Point to Applewaite. However, on this occasion, Mosley set up the play perfectly. Forehand, then the volley into the open court. And Applewaite's off to the races. Well, let's see what Applewaite can do to respond. Staying with the play, and it's Mosley with the error. Applewaite won 4 games in the second, but just couldn't find the momentum to close out the set. Applewaite, well, he's going to be a track star after this game. On the run once more. Applewaite trying a different approach now. The big serve right down the middle. That's an ace. But it was only a matter of time, and Mosley would skillfully wrap this game up. The overhead smash. He goes on to win it in straight sets. 7-6, 6-4. Mosley, he's into the finals. Well, the men's singles final is slated for Monday at 6 p.m. at the Wildey Tennis Centre. Well, Barbados is ready to defend its team title at this weekend's 41st Central American and Caribbean Bodybuilding and Fitness Championships in Santo Domingo. The competitors have arrived in Dominican Republic, and the Barbados men's bodybuilding team has been signaled out as having the most potential to do well. The head of the national contingent, Dr. Andrew Forde, says he's especially pleased with the men's bodybuilding team, which he says has a strong complement. Dr. Forde, who's also the president of the Barbados Amateur Bodybuilding and Fitness Federation, however, says that all 27 members are in great spirits despite a few viral illnesses and niggles among some of the athletes. And he's confident they have the goods to do well. The full bodybuilding, bikini and fitness team is Curtis Kirby, Samuel Eastman, Michael Worrell, Hoskins Biscuit Worrell, Laurent Gibson, Joseph Bourne, Stevenson Bell and Shaquille Levine in the men's bodybuilding category. Rhonda Brown and Deidre Archer are the female bodybuilders. Saskia Griffith, Melissa Burrows, Natalie Webb, Carolyn Bell, Antoinette Downey, Asha Chase, Rashida Belgrave, Ramona Morgan and Kim Seeley are in the women's bikini and fitness competitions, while Marlon Doughton, Maurice Arthur and Lindstrom Griffith fly the broken trident in the men's physique. The athletes had their official weigh-in and measurements today. Then tomorrow, there will be the Caribbean Association General Assembly, as well as a meeting of delegates and coaches. Prejudging is the same day, which will be the prelude to the highly anticipated morning finals on Sunday. Now, the biggest competition is likely to be coming from Puerto Rico and Venezuela and host Dominican Republic. Shirley Garnes is the manager, Dr. Forde, the chief delegate, Carl Moore, coach, Matthew Pilgrim, assistant coach, and Walter Sobers, assistant manager, who will double up as a judge. The team returns home on Monday. Well, Sean Cox is ready for his WBF World Cruiserweight title fight. Cox will clash with hometown boy Danny Venter in Pretoria, South Africa tomorrow. These two actually met 11 years ago as amateurs at the 2002 Commonwealth Games, with Venter coming out on top that time around. However, speaking ahead of the bout, Cox says it was payback time, adding that he didn't travel all the way to South Africa to lose. The manager Sam Lane isn't expecting the fight to go the full 12 rounds, with two fighters who like to go for the knockout win. The partisan home crowd will be behind Venter, who is a former South African champion. There will be 6 other fights on the card, dubbed No Guts, No Glory. Well, motorsport fans are in for a drag treat this weekend. CBC's Shane Jones tells us more.
It's the second acceleration test for the year on the Thicket Straight from 10 until 5.
The last time we ran it in conjunction with the motoring club, it was very, very well received by competitors. We had one of the biggest entries ever. Some very, very fast times set. Bikes were included this time as well. Well, last time, there'll be bikes again this time around. So we're looking for a really big and exciting event this time.
It is expected that over 3,000 spectators will be there to see top-class action.
It'll be a day of basically non-stop action. It's an acceleration test. It's one car at a time against the clock, but it's just constant action all day long. We're doing, this time around, we're going to do an 1/8 mile run in the morning half, and then we're going to do a 1/4 mile run in the afternoon. And then, you know, guys get to see what the times will be like with one relative to the other. But either way, it's cars running every 20 seconds or so. It's noise, tire smoke, burning rubber, everything that people like on motorsport.
The association is also beefing up on security for the event, especially crowd control.
We're going to have to enforce areas for spectators. We have a very large area at the start which has been specially prepared for spectators. We're not allowing anyone to be along the straight for not only safety reasons, but also there's some crops growing along there. And you know, we need to be cognizant of the fact that the farmers need to protect the investment. So no one's allowed along the straight, but we have a massive spectator area at the start.
So it's going to be burning rubber on the Thicket Straight this Sunday. Shane Jones, CBC Sports.
In business tonight, 39 food and non-food items will soon be removed from the import licensing regime, and the government is predicting that this should assist the business community and hopefully result in lower prices for consumers. According to Minister of Industry, International Business, Commerce and Small Business Development, Dominican Republic, Cabinet recently made the important decision as part of its overall thrust to boost business facilitation and reduce bureaucracy.
The Cabinet of Barbados, on the advice of this ministry, recently took a decision to remove several items from the import licensing regime. There are 39, I think there are 39 tariff heads that are applicable in that area, and I believe that the officers can share that with you going forward. But there are basically quite a number of items that will now be removed from the import licensing regime, and this is extremely important.
According to the minister, the decision will remove a tedious licensing process that was redundant in some ways.
This is extremely important because in all practical terms, in order to import these items into Barbados, one would have had to apply to this ministry for an import license, wait until it's issued, and then go back to customs or wherever and do the importation. And we're seeking here to eliminate that step. This should certainly ease the importers a bit in terms of not having to deal with another layer of bureaucracy, and hopefully will translate into some reduction in the cost of goods in these areas.
Well, there are indications that more Chinese have been looking at Barbados as a tourist destination. And according to General Manager of the Divi South Winds Hotel, Alvin Jemmett, options are being explored to get those who are interested to Barbados. He adds that based on feedback from the recently held Mega Fam program, there is an untapped market of younger Chinese who could be encouraged to come to the island.
One thing that was very striking for me was a tour operator who did inbound travel out of Canada, and she was looking particularly at Chinese studying in Canada and wanting somewhere to go in the summer months. Now that's when we have a lull, and if we can influence more Chinese studying in Canada and the USA to travel to Barbados instead of returning to China during the summer periods, I think we can see an increase in our visitor arrivals in the summer months.
Now here's a summary of trading on selected stock exchanges in the region.